All right. Good to be back. It's great to be back. And it's great to be a Razorback. I'm excited to be back in here and much needed bye week. Last week gave us an opportunity to get better. We got some guys healed up, got a chance to get our legs back up underneath us and kind of take a deep breath from just the grind that these guys have been in, that the coaching staff has been in since late July, early August. And had an opportunity last week to focus on ourselves, which is the message, and the message isn't going to change. A lot of live work with a lot of young players and continue their development. But excited to be back in here. Got in here last night or yesterday afternoon with meetings and for an opportunity this week, the Battle of the Boot, rivalry game. It's a great opportunity for our program, for the seniors. It's senior night. It's a night game. So there's a lot of excitement, as we came out on the field yesterday and being a part of this. So excited to get going and get back out on the field tomorrow for our second practice of the week. So with that, I'll open up.
Raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you for questions.
I guess, Chad, assume you watched the Alabama-LSU game. What was your take on LSU, and especially what do you think? How do you think they'll handle coming off a shutout?
Well, I think, first of all, I did. I had an opportunity to watch it. It was two extremely talented teams that, that was a ball game. That was a slugfest. And I think you saw what I saw was guys just laying everything they had on the field. And I know that we'll get their absolute best. They'll get our best this week, and that's what we ask for. The one thing I can control is ourselves and focus on the Arkansas Razorbacks. But we know that they'll come back in here and be ready to go for this week against us.
Just with Greenlaw or Cornelius, some of the walking wounded, what's their status this week?
Yeah, we expect them to play. They were out on the field last night, and they were in green, so we anticipate them being ready to go full speed for tomorrow's practice.
And also just among the younger players you scrimmaged last week, anybody stand out? And also just how much more will you do with them as this couple of weeks go on?
Yeah, Nate, we'll continue to develop these guys as we always do. Over the next several weeks of practice, we've got a time set up after practice to continue their development in full pads and a lot of live work with them. Guys that stood out, obviously Joe Fouché, some defensive guys, Day Bishop, Isaiah Nichols, Derek Munson had a good week last week and had a big scrimmage last night with these guys. D. Edwards is another one, and offensively, Connor Nolan, John Stephen Jones were two guys that got the majority of the reps. Last week, as far as the development of our young guys in the scrimmaging, Silas Robinson, Coylin Jackson caught a big pass last night and for a big gain. So Ryan Winkle and Shane Clennon. So we're trying to push these guys, and now that we know we're not going to a bowl, the development in a bowl practice, those 15 extra practices are so much a part of developing your young guys, and so we've got to find a way now to add a little bit to it. Obviously we've cut practice back just a little bit with some of our older guys, the high rep guys, and then use the latter part of that for a lot of scrimmaging, a lot of good on good with the younger guys.
You've had success coming off bye weeks, early in your career. What has been the key for you, and how much do you go back to that when you prepare with your team this week?
Yeah, we talked to our staff, talked to our players, excuse me, about a change of a place and a change of pace is a change of perspective too. And so, and every one of the bye weeks that we've come off of is just to kind of step back and reflect. And, as I wasn't going to watch any ball Saturday, but there was something missing Saturday. And it was more than just sitting in the woods. It was, once got inside and turned the TV on, you just wanted to go watch some games. And then once you started watching the games, it was like, man, I can't wait to get back out on that field and compete. That's where we should be. And getting back in here last night, talking to our players felt the same way. So, I think a lot of it is how you handle the bye week, the open week, and making sure that you, especially as late as we are, It'd be different if our open week was in the middle of the year. We would have done a lot more good on good. We did good on good last week, but it wasn't as much as what you would expect. And so more of just trying to get our legs back up underneath us and kind of get just a freshness about us again, take a deep breath. And that's what we did. And the energy level is extremely high, and guys know that this is it, senior night. This is our last time in that stadium. And so, we want to make sure that we continue to focus on ourselves and getting better.
As you toured the state after you got the job and went around to the Razorback clubs, did you get a sense from the fans that one game stood out more than any other? Where does the LSU game rank in the feedback that you've gotten from fans?
Well, there was no question that this game stood out among my traveling circuit that I went through. This was a big talking point, this game. And so you got a sense real quick that this was a big rival game. You knew that. I knew that coming in. And so, absolutely.
And then you mentioned last night a scrimmage. Can you talk about maybe how many plays, who all was involved? Was it just the younger guys, how long you went, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we went about 20 minutes. We did some individual and did some other things, and then we scrimmaged them up, went live with it. So, yeah, we did that last night. We'll do it again next Sunday night. And then we did it 3 times last week, to where these guys had a chance to, that haven't gotten full speed or full live work, kind of go ahead and start that development of those young guys. So, yeah, we did that, and enough to have several groups.
Hey, Chad, obviously the players need a break physically and mentally. For the coaches, how important is an open date for you guys, especially when it's been a tough season?
Well, it is. It's especially when your bye week is as late as ours has been. It's important just to change the routine just a little bit, just get away from it. Had coaches out on the road Thursday night and into Friday, and at games all over last Friday night. So just a change of your routine, and then Saturday we gave everybody off, so coaches had a chance to stay home with their families. So that was big, and get back in here on Sunday, and as we talked to our players about, we had 20 days remaining, so we're going to sign a 1-day contract for 20 days, 20 days in a row.
It's hard from watching the game in the press box to see what a left guard is doing or a center is doing on every play. How would you evaluate what his season has looked like and what he's meant in the locker room too?
Well, he's a tremendous leader for our football team. He's voted as a team captain by his peers, which is huge. That's a big deal. So I think that says enough about what he means in our locker room. On the field, as an offensive lineman, if your name's not being called, that's a good thing. But he definitely has backed that up. Just his toughness, his leadership style, his ability to just communicate and help those younger guys in the offensive line, and just what he demands in the meeting rooms too. So in his work ethic, his demeanor has not changed through the course of this season. I mean, he's been very, very rock solid, and that's what you got great respect for him.
Have you learned anything about Denmark from him? Picked up anything?
Yeah. He's tried to talk it a little bit to me, but I can't speak it, but he can, and so he's a phenomenal leader, one of the better leaders I've been around.
Coach, back to the younger players, Silas, where have you got him playing, and Winkle, just positions, what they're doing, and some of those other guys in the offensive line, what you see going forward. I mean, we may not see them in games, but.
Well, it's unfortunate that Ryan had the injury that he had that first week he was here, but came back after the surgery and has really progressed. He's working some right tackle and doing some good things, getting a lot of work on scout team. And Silas has been working center and guard, so that's been good. We'd like to transition him to a center, but he's been able to work both over there on our scout team. These guys are also going through, what we call our Power Hour program, which which is just a really accelerated weight program. You know, while these other guys are in meetings, our Power Hour group is in the weight room, getting stronger, working on their development in that weight room, which a lot of young players need. They need that core strength. And what we found is it really accelerates them moving forward for the spring ball.
I guess other injury like Pat and Whaley, K. Rich, what's going on with those guys?
We anticipate K. Rich being back. Jeremy is not ready, and Devois, we ran him last week. We'll continue to evaluate him this week to see. We think he's getting close.
I mean, I'm sure you've met him at some meetings. Just wondering if you know him at all, if you ever faced him, just kind of what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I've known Coach for a long time. Matter of fact, he's had a couple of my players that played for him. Jevin Sneed played for him when he was at Ole Miss, and so I've known Coach Ogeron for a while.
What do you think about him?
I think he's a phenomenal coach, an unbelievable recruiter, a great motivator. I think you can see how hard his players play for him.
You mentioned about did you actually go out in the woods? And if so, what did you do?
Yeah.
And when did you do that?
I actually did. And Chandler and I just got away and went and sat in a deer stand and didn't even have any bullets in my gun, had no desire. I just wanted to sit out there and see some deer and hogs. And so was waiting to help Chandler clean a deer if he shot one, but he didn't shoot one either. So we just enjoyed being out there and riding around and just getting away.
And you got back in time to watch like afternoon games?
Mm-hmm. I did. Oh yeah.
Coach, have you ever hunted without bullets before?
Never. No, but it was a neat thing. It's kind of like fishing without a lure. You know, just as you wouldn't want to do that, but really had no desire. I mean, I just really wanted to get away, and we spent some family time. Mackenzie came in, and we all just kind of stepped back from the grind that we've all been in, and had a chance to watch Chandler play Friday night, and so that was good. It was a good weekend, but I was ready to be back, and texted our players quite a bit during the time off. Let them know can't wait to get back and see them.
Hey, Chad, I want to ask you about personnel for LSU, what you see defensively from them first and then offensively.
Yeah. Well, defensively, just 11th in the nation, fifth in scoring defense in our league. Man, when you look at their back end or their secondary, they're as good as they get. These are all NFL guys that are going to play at a very high level on Sundays. Lead the league in turnovers and interceptions. They're second in the country in interceptions. And when you watch them, you can see. I mean, they've got the size, they've got the speed, they break on the ball experience, and very physical. And their secondary is as good as we've seen. And they've got a defensive, from a front standpoint, Rashard Lawrence is disruptive a D lineman as we've seen, Michael Divinity, their jackbacker is very active. And then Devin White, and obviously the linebacker is one of the top linebackers in the country. So they're very sound. They got a lot of depth. They run really well and pursue the football. So they've got when you see the lack of production in the passing game that teams have had against them, you understand when you start watching film of these guys. Very talented, and obviously offensively, they do a really good job of not turning the ball over. They only have 8 turnovers all year long, so and that's keeping you in a lot of games right there.
Senior Day on Saturday. How has the senior class helped you in your first year at Arkansas?
Yeah, we meet with our seniors. I do every week, and we spend a lot of time together. And I try to bring them a message each week that will take them and help them both on the field and off the field. Just talks about the struggles and the trials that we've been through, and how to remaining consistent and persistent in the way you approach things that'll help you through your everyday life. So we've had an open dialogue. It's been very challenging with everybody, you know, with the year that we've had, but these guys have stayed the course. And as I've shared with our team since we started this thing, the amount of change that have gone on in these seniors since they've been here, from position coaches, coordinators, or head coach leaving, these guys have been through a lot of change. When you have a lot of change, you have a hard time building trust. And so we've worked extremely hard to building a trust among each other. And it's only grown stronger with time. And I really think that's why we've been able to see some of the progress that we've made. And these guys understand they're going to leave their legacy. And they know that they're you know, essentially 3 games away from it. And so, you know, their attitude and how they approach every day is important, and they've done a really good job with that.
Chad, you got a few Louisiana guys on the team, you know, key spots like Harris and Santos and J. Red. What sense do you get from those guys about what this game means to them?
Yeah, there's quite a few that we have on our roster, and we were talking about it last week. They were actually coming up to me about it and just saying, Coach, this is a big one here. And I said, yeah, well, they're all big, but this still happens to be the biggest one because it's the only one. But they understand that growing up in Louisiana and coming here and playing for the Razorbacks and the tradition of these two teams playing against each other. They understand it. They get it.
Like you said, the guys came back Sunday night. What was their overall mindset? Do you get a feeling that they're kind of refreshed and fired up again?
Yeah, I do. I asked kind of the same thing I just told y'all. I just asked how many of you watch football, because I encourage them, get away from it, as I encourage our staff. But I asked the question because I wound up watching ball, and that was good. But I asked them, how many of you guys had a chance to sit down and watch football? And man, a room full of hands went up, and some of them said, Coach, I did it all day long. I watched the ball all day long and couldn't wait to get back in here. Miss competing. That was the big message. And Coach, we miss being out on that field. We miss going out and competing. So there was a lot of energy and a lot of excitement. And again, just stepping back and reflecting and changing perspective was a big deal for these guys.
Coach, you're in evaluation period now, contact period coming up, early signing period, visitors coming in this weekend. Where do you guys look with the early period coming up, but National Signing Day just 3 months off? Where do you guys look to finish off this class in terms of what you're identifying as needs among the non-committed?
Yeah, well, big weekend for recruiting, first of all. Huge weekend. I'm excited about the game being at 6:30. I think it's going to give our fans an opportunity to get into the stands and get loud and create a game day environment that I'm excited to see. I have not played obviously coached in a game here at night. I'm excited about that. I think it'll be great for our recruits. We'll have lots of recruits on campus, several official visitors on campus. And then moving forward, we're always in an evaluation process with our staff. I mean, that's every day, always recruiting. But I think some of the big needs, and we all know we've got to address team speed. That's been since the day I got here. So we'll continue to address team speed. Offense and defensive line is always a big area, and we'll continue to push that. But I anticipate on December the 19th to sign the majority of our class. I don't think we'll get them all signed on the 19th, but I think you'll sign the majority of them on December 19th. And so.
Do you remember watching any Arkansas LSU games? I mean, there were some really interesting ones in some day after Thanksgiving games. You're probably getting ready for a high school game or for some of those, but just your thoughts looking back at maybe some of those significant games.
Yeah, I do. And actually, Paula and I took a group of players to a game in Baton Rouge when Arkansas played LSU, and was there and sat in the stands and watched the game, and just the rivalry, the passion level, and you got our fan base is incredible, and watching these games on TV, it's always been just a battle. I mean, it didn't matter. You throw the records out, doesn't matter. it's an absolute war. And that's what I remember the most out of it.
Do you recall what year that was, and why did you decide to take the guys to that game, that particular game?
You know, I'd have to think back on that. I really don't. I know, you know, we had some highly recruited guys, and they wanted to go down and see that game, and that was, we had finished up, I believe, maybe we had played on a, you know, I don't know, Thursday night. Well, I'd have to go back and look at my date on it, but, and I couldn't even tell you the score of that game. But I just know that it was a battle.
Any more questions, Coach Morris?
How do you handle senior day, with these guys and across the
Well, it's an opportunity to honor, you know, the time and the investment that these young men have put in their tenure here, and you know, them passing a torch. And so bringing their families out, we'll bring them out through the tunnel and take a picture on the field with them, and you know, just a normal, but really just our appreciation. And I think we've done a really good job of that all year long of you know, talking about how much we appreciate our seniors. And so this isn't some week that we're just going to say it's all about them, because it's been about them and their legacy. And so, you know, we'll continue to you know, prepare and get ready. And these guys understand. They know what's ahead of them. They know that we got a great opponent and we're fixing to play. And, you know, these seniors got an opportunity to run out of that tunnel one last time.